Hey, what's up, my friends? Jason Woodland back again with Always the Journey TV. Thank you so much for joining us. We're on episode number 43, and everything is moving right along. We're so excited to be able to talk to so many awesome people out here in the community to learn more about what they're doing. This is more or less a community service to spotlight people out there on their jobs, their businesses, their artwork, their side hustles, their event space, and everything in between. So today's small business shout out goes out to Ice House, located at 7 East. That is 7, not 700, just 7 East, 4800 South in the Murray area. So today I'm really excited about introducing you to my friend Dr. Alyssa Kuhn. She is a fan of the mountains and adventure ever since she moved to Sandy, Utah. You can usually find her skiing, hiking, biking, or spending time in the gym. She takes health and wellness very seriously, not just for others, but herself as well. So she's a practitioner in what she's helping other people learn. She's a doctor of physical therapy and arthritis specialist, helping people all over the world find relief from osteoarthritis pain. Her main mission as founder of Keep the Adventure Alive is to change the negative associations with arthritis to optimism, hope, and motivation. She wants to spread to the world that an arthritis diagnosis doesn't mean your adventure has to be over. She has seen so many people who are misguided and lost in the traditional medical system, leading to premature surgery and poor quality of life. You can find more at her website, and I'll be posting that here in just a few moments as well, but at keeptheadventurealive.com. So, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce my friend, Dr. Alyssa Kuhn. What's happening?
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You having a magnificent day or what?
I am. The sun's out. It's warm. It's a little windy, but...
Yes, exactly. I've got, I've had spring fever for like a month, and that's not good because we're just barely into February.
Right.
But as you see, we got sunshine, and it's blue sky, and it's beautiful.
I know, so we can't complain.
Yep, exactly. So I wanted to show to all of my network and friends more about your business. So I would like to do a deep dive and really get a granular understanding. I mean, you and I have talked about your business before, but let's talk first of all. What inspired you to get involved in your line of work all to begin with?
So I've always been kind of interested in physical therapy. I don't have the traditional, I hurt something, then I went through it, but I wanted to do something that kind of meshed both fitness and something in medicine, but I don't do blood and I didn't want to go to med school. So physical therapy kind of was one of the better options in my eyes as far as what I wanted to do and what I saw in my future. And so I've always been super active, and I think that this was a great way to kind of be able to help people move better while, not dealing with all of the medicine and all of that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to help people stay active is the biggest thing and kind of have a big impact on people's lives. And physical therapy was kind of the way to do that for me.
Nice. What was it that you were doing before you got involved in physical therapy?
So I actually just went right into PT school right after graduation. So I graduated undergrad with just a bachelor's in kinesiology. And so I just kind of went right into it. So I wasn't really doing anything. I was just in school for a long time.
Oh, no, and that is a long time. I mean, there's a lot of study there.
Yeah.
So let's talk really specifically about your business and what it is that physical therapy actually represents, because sometimes I think that people might think that they only need physical therapy if they've gone through a particular trauma or situation. Tell me more about the business overall, please.
Yeah, so with Keep the Adventure Alive, I've kind of been encompassing more than just physical therapy, because it does have the connotation of you need to be injured or you need to have gone through some surgery and you just go to a clinic down the road and, go 2 times a week for 8 weeks or whatever. But with branching off on my own into my own business, I have been able to kind of not only promote physical therapy, but promote like a life transformation, especially, and that's why I've kind of decided to specialize and niche down more into the osteoarthritis population, because that population, I think, is missing a lot of information. And so not only is it just physical therapy, not only is it just exercise, it's more of a transformation, because physical therapy and just movement in general is more than just exercise. You have to have good sleep, you have to have good nutrition, you have to have good mindset. All of these things are kind of combined into one, but in a traditional physical therapy clinic setting, you usually don't have time to address all of those other things.
Right.
So now that I'm on my own, I have lots more flexibility and have been able to see lots more success, and people actually, their lives are changing because they're not only just getting exercise, we're also able to kind of take a deeper dive into all of these other things that are contributing, because a lot of times people get stuck in this rut of pain, and just going and getting exercise may not be what they need. It may be something else, nutrition, health, all those other things. So I think that has really helped me as far as kind of taking physical therapy a step further, using all of my knowledge from PT school and everything to kind of create more of a transformation, that it's, we're not just physical therapy, it's more than that.
Yeah, exactly. So you're saying then, if someone has just got, just some maybe random pain or something, they can come and talk to you as well, and you can sort of, it's more of like a holistic kind of thing too. You're not just focusing on this one thing. You're saying, hey, what does your sleeping habits look like? What does your sort of diet look like, to sort of tie it all together? Is that correct?
Yes. And that's one of the biggest things is, so a lot of times when people have arthritis pain, it kind of just starts to be this gradual joint pain that we typically try to just ignore, because we don't want to go to the doctor. We don't want to do all this. So then we just try to push it away until it becomes so severe that, you have trouble walking, or you can't go hiking, or you can't bike anymore. And then it becomes an issue. But I am trying to kind of catch people in those early stages, because the longer you go, I always tell people, the longer you go, the deeper of hole that you dig. So it's going to be harder to get out. But we're in our society and in our medical system, we are so reactive that we wait until something is so severe before we start to take action. But I'm pushing out tons and tons of content, tons and tons of information that I think a lot of people are lacking, to hopefully kind of shift that mindset, along with all the other integrative health things that are starting to come to fruition, the wellness type services, to really kind of stop arthritis before it becomes a serious problem. Because that's when a lot of people really struggle, is when arthritis is so severe that they really have trouble even doing just the smallest of movements.
Wow. And where would you say is one of the most focused areas in the body where arthritis is most prevalent?
So I would say probably knee and hip and maybe spine are probably the most prevalent. Shoulders not as prevalent. But one of the reasons why, so I focus primarily on knee osteoarthritis, because with the whole mission of keep the adventure alive, knee arthritis tends to be the most limiting. As far as it impacts your walking, it impacts your ability to go through the full range of motion, like cycling and things like that. So knee osteoarthritis in particular, I think, is one of the most common. It's also one of the most common surgeries, a total joint replacement. And a lot of those are premature. And so a lot of times people don't really know what goes into a total knee replacement when they go get one. And so they think of it kind of as the easy way out. But knee arthritis, like I said, tends to be the most limiting to adventure. So I usually tend to see people that have had chronic knee pain. It doesn't even need to be an arthritis diagnosis,
Mhm.
but just chronic knee pain in general that want to get back to skiing. I have a couple people that are trying to get back to skiing right now. One's actually on a ski trip, so that's awesome.
Nice.
And then a couple others like hiking, because you have some knee instability where you feel like your knee's going to give out, and hiking isn't really conducive to that. So working on that to get back to hiking. And so I've primarily focused on knee arthritis, but there are also other joints, and usually arthritis doesn't come in just one joint. So sometimes it can spread to other joints. So, but primarily focused on knee pain.
Wow. What would you say is one of the major causes of knee pain or arthritis in general?
So one of the main causes of arthritis, surprisingly, is not wear and tear, like a lot of people think, just doing too much activity. It's actually when your joint, the one side of your joint is taking more force than the other. So you have kind of an asymmetry going through your knee joint. Now, whether that is one leg is weaker than the other, some muscles are stronger than the other, and they're working harder. So that's going to kind of give an imbalance to those forces that are going through your knee. So essentially, like a lot of times the inside of your knee tends to hurt a little bit more. When we have some hip weakness, when we have some back weakness, when we have some imbalances in some of our muscles, then that inside of the joint is taking more force. And so it's not evenly distributed. And that is one of the main causes. As far as mobility restrictions, genetics does play a huge part too. But I always tell people, if it runs in your family, that doesn't mean it's a death sentence.
Right.
There are things we can do about it. But it's very driven by inflammation. So whether your diet, if you're obese, it's not necessarily the mechanical stress going through your knee, but it also, you carry more inflammatory cells. So there's a lot that goes into it, but from a mobility standpoint, it's usually some imbalance somewhere. And it's kind of hard to tell without an evaluation because everybody is different.
Yep.
But there's also other factors that go into it as well.
Yeah. So leading to my follow-up question on that, do you do a free evaluation for people to get an idea of if it's somebody you can work with, and what does that look like?
So I don't offer a free evaluation. So there are, I am mobile. So I go to people's homes.
Yeah,
I
great.
have a clinic. So in order to, and I also like on the evaluation, not only to just see kind of where problems are, but also get started on a program, just something really simple to get started, because it's one thing to tell you, what is wrong, and then wait a week until you can start doing something about it. So usually I like to pack into an evaluation, a movement assessment and things like that, but also kind of getting right into doing things, because in order to keep your adventure alive, we have to take action. Yeah. And so usually an evaluation is accompanied by at least 3 to 4 action steps that you can get started with right away. And then I also come right to you. So there is a fee for the evaluation, but I think that it is super valuable because you can get a lot of information and point out a lot of things that you maybe didn't even know, because a lot of muscle imbalances and things are very subtle. So a lot of times you can't really feel them yourselves. You usually need kind of an outside perspective or someone who knows what they're looking for to kind of point those out.
Oh, I love that. I think that makes really great sense, because, sometimes if we're doing free things, the level of value might not be there. And it sounds like your initial evaluation is just power packed with all kinds of value that right out of the gates, people are getting, value, and they're just getting a ton of value right out. So,
Right.
And then at that point, while doing that evaluation, not only are they getting a ton of value during that time, but then you're also sort of setting up a game plan of what comes next. Is that correct?
Yes. And so I think that is, like I said, in order to get onto the right track, you have to start taking action right away. The sooner, the better. And one of the things that I've always found, so I worked in a traditional clinic. I actually did home care for a while, that was billed through insurance. And what I found was the compliance was not there. People would, work out when I was there, but then wouldn't follow up on any of the exercise or wouldn't follow up on any of the advice until I came the next time. And so I think moving to a private pay, cash pay model has really kind of opened the doors. People, if you have skin in the game, if you're willing to invest, you're going to do a lot more and you're going to be so much more strict about actually doing it. Like I just enrolled in a coaching program, a business coaching program for myself. And it was a lot of money, but I'm also taking it very seriously. And so I think that there's definitely something to say in the private pay model because people are so used to insurance paying for everything, which is great in certain circumstances. But when you're talking about your health and you're talking about, starting an exercise routine, it's not easy in the beginning, but you have to stick with it. And so I found that compliance is almost 100% since I've gone off on my own, which is awesome. I tell people, exercises to do, they do them. I tell people exercise equipment to get, they get it. So people are just very, very motivated. And so that's who I love working with the most. So if somebody is really looking to make a life change, maybe they've tried some other things, it didn't work, having some skin in the game is really what we need in order to kind of push through that plateau, especially with, fitness, exercise, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I am all about the skin in the game concept because it is easy to start anything.
Yes.
And it's hard to complete most things.
Yeah.
So I think that's awesome. So at that point, do you do like a once a week kind of meetup or I'm assuming everybody's a little bit different, right? So maybe somebody you're meeting once a week for a month, maybe someone else is 3 months. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So usually I like to at least meet with people for 6 to 8 visits. And it all kind of depends on, like you were saying, the severity, how much hands-on you need, how comfortable you are with exercise, maybe how much motivation you need. I usually start out seeing people at least for the first 2 weeks, twice a week, in order to kind of really get into a routine, because the beginning is what's most important. Most of the time, you're in some sort of pain. You have all of these limiting factors. Exercise is somewhat new to you, so starting a routine can be harder. And so having that twice a week, I think, is important to kind of start to make and form some habits, not only just doing the exercise, but moving well, that sort of thing. But then I usually only see people once a week because it's kind of meeting, progressing some things, figuring out where you are in the process, and then giving you a plan with all of my exercise videos and things of what to do when I'm not there. And then we meet up the following week because I want to give you actual time to really kind of implement these and really kind of master those movements before we progress. So I'm not meeting with people, 3 times a week, because most of the time at that point, people are fairly independent with some video instruction on how to do things. And then we kind of continue to progress that way.
Nice. And then without having to talk prices, because of course that's going to be specific to each person, but just to get an understanding of the model, do you charge per visit or per month? How does that look?
So I have 2 options. So I have packages that are 6 visits or 10 visits, and those are cheaper than the per visit rate. But I also do have a per visit rate. I have seen the most success in people that purchase the 10 visit package though, because like we were just talking about, it's an investment. That you are in this for 10 visits, whether that's 8 weeks, however we want to split it up. You're in it for the long haul. I find that when people just do, 1 or 2 visits here and there, they don't necessarily see the same results as someone who's going to be, a little bit more dedicated in that aspect. But we do also offer payment plans and all of that stuff. I'm super flexible. It's just, you have to kind of decide and commit.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. And then you said that you come to them. So you mean you can come to their house, you can maybe meet in a park. Tell me all of what that looks like.
Yeah. So when it was warm out, I did meet a couple people at the park, actually. I had one woman who had little kids at home, and so meeting at home wasn't exactly ideal. So we just met at Sugar House Park. but we can meet, like you said, anywhere, that any public space that you're comfortable with. But primarily I see people in their homes. So I'm based in Sandy. And so usually my clients are in Sandy, Utah, or Sandy, Cottonwood, Draper, kind of right in this area.
Okay, well, that definitely leads right next to the next question is geographic locations. What is the entire footprint that you would cover?
So I usually stick to Salt Lake County. There are some fees associated with people that live a little bit further, but I also do virtual, which I find is super important. And it's something that, we are moving more towards in a society. People are feeling more comfortable with it. But a lot of times people are like, well, physical therapy, you can't do that over video. But in with some of those clients who do live a little bit further, even if we could just meet like once or twice so we can really kind of start to develop a relationship, then I find people are so much more successful virtually, because we've kind of gotten the, initial things out of the way. And so virtual is definitely an option. I'm also working on currently a knee osteoarthritis program to revive your adventure. And that I will hopefully have launched by the end of next month, but that's completely 100% online. So I am looking to kind of expand. If you're not in Utah, it's going to be a 90-day program. So I'm really excited for that because I am truly looking to scale and looking to kind of branch out into a wider audience than just kind of a geographic location, but I will continue seeing clients in Utah as well.
Nice. So you specialize in physical therapy and virtual physical therapy.
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so as far as Salt Lake County, so downtown to Draper, from Holiday and Cottonwood Heights to West Valley City, everywhere in the bowl of Salt Lake City.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. So tell me, what does your perfect client look like? We sort of covered that a little bit, but what I'm trying to do here is for the person who's watching this interview to say, Alyssa's my person, and I need to reach out. So a good referral, the perfect client, who is that person?
So he or she is about 50 to 55 and dealing with some chronic knee pain, whether it's been 6 months or whether it's been 5 years, but it's starting to become limiting that they want to continue skiing or hiking or biking, have some sort of motivator of adventure. Super active, those ones that are willing to put in the work to stay active, those who are motivated, but are dealing with some chronic knee pain. Looking to avoid surgery is a big one. I see quite a few people who are kind of taking this as a last ditch effort before trying to go to surgery. Also, I've had a lot of luck with people who have tried traditional PT in the past and not have had luck. And now are kind of moving into this, not necessarily that, those clinics aren't good. It's just, I think it's a lot of times it's the investment, the time commitment is the big thing there. So a lot of times I get clients who say they've tried everything and nothing's working. And again, a last ditch effort before surgery.
Okay. So you're up for a challenge then.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Awesome. Okay. So anybody watching this right now, if you've had a physical therapy in the past and have not had much luck, definitely reach out to Alyssa because she very well might be the turning point in your future. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Yes.
Hey, that was sort of a tagline that I just came up with. Okay, that's way cool. So, how do your clients get a hold of you, or potential clients maybe learn more and then get a hold of you?
So my website is probably the best place to go. So keeptheadventurealive.com. Look at that. Okay. I also have a YouTube channel that is great for people to kind of see some options and kind of see and learn some initial things about arthritis. Because I have a lot of people who are hesitant. Like, I have arthritis. There's nothing I can do about it. What can you do for me? I can never exercise again. Everything hurts. All of these different things. But my goal is just to provide resources and options. There's a zillion ways to do things. I always tell people if you're doing some sort of exercise and it's it's hurting or you just don't like it, there's 1,000,000 other things we can do. So don't perseverate on that one. And everybody is different. So everyone responds to arthritis differently. And so on my YouTube channel, I have lots of workouts, lots of just general information, things that will be helpful, not only if you have knee osteoarthritis, but all types of osteoarthritis.
Nice. Oh, and is your YouTube channel under Keep the Adventure Alive?
So if you search for Alyssa Adventure Alive, or you can type in Dr. Alyssa Kuhn, and I think one of my videos will pop up.
Okay, cool. And just to make sure everybody knows, Kuhn is spelled Kuhn.
Yes, no Q.
No Q.
No Q.
And I actually wrote a Q on my intro just to make sure I didn't mix it up. Awesome. So I always like to end an interview by learning a little bit more about my interviewee by asking, what is one of your favorite quotes or favorite songs or both?
Oh, that's a tough one. I would say probably I Will Wait by Mumford & Sons. Mumford & Sons is very near and dear to my heart.
Awesome.
I saw them 3 times last year when we could still go to concerts. So
yeah.
Yes.
Well, the year before last year.
Yes.
Last year is a bad word.
Things were normal.
So you saw them 3 times in 2019?
I did, yes.
That's cool. So where did you see him at?
New Orleans, Columbus, and Denver.
Wow. Which one was their best concert?
New Orleans. It was at a Voodoo Music Festival, and we stood in line, or we stood at it was just like a free-for-all music festival, but we stood through a 1.5 hour long screamo band to get a good spot, and we were probably, I don't know, 20 feet away from them, so it was awesome.
Oh, that's way cool.
Yeah. So it was worth it.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? I'd be willing to see any band under the sun at this moment. I don't even care who it is. Like I would go see Nickelback.
Well, some restaurants are bringing back live music, so that's a start to the concerts again.
Oh, that's awesome. And no offense if you like Nickelback. I'm just joking. All right, cool.
Oh, that's funny. This
has been a real pleasure being able to learn more about your business and share you with all of my friends and family and network and so forth. Is there anything about your business outside of what we just talked about that you think is really imperative for everybody to know?
If you're looking to transform your life, it's not just physical therapy. It's basically a life transformation. So it can really change all aspects and really get you moving to keep your adventure alive. So also, adventure doesn't have an age limit, and pain's not normal. So don't keep ignoring it. Go get it checked out and take action. Yes, I love that. So that's great stuff. Alyssa, I sincerely appreciate you spending your time on the Always the Journey TV show today. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. You're very welcome. I'm going to have you hang out in the green room for a few moments. I'm actually in the green room. I'm going to be painting this green room pretty soon, by the way. So, but I'll wrap up the show, and then we'll talk for a few moments after. Okay. Thank you. All right. Cool. Thank you. All right. So there you go, my friends. My friend, Dr. Alyssa Kuhn. Definitely reach out to her if you're feeling any kind of pains, especially arthritis in the knees. Those things she's very specific with. So definitely reach out to her. Check out her website, as we stated here, keeptheadventurealive.com. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I would sincerely appreciate that. And if you like the content, throw us a thumbs up on the video. And if you've got any questions, also throw your question down there below. And I'm sure that she'll be able to jump in and answer your questions for you. But anyway, thanks again for joining us on Always the Journey TV. Again, I'm your host, Jason Woodland. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Take care.